Hi, I'm Eden Lane. Today we have a special treat. We're backstage at the Buell Theater for Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. We'll get a tour of the costume area. They call it the gondolas. And we'll also have a chance to meet 4 of the leading players in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Can't wait to share it with you. We meet Wardrobe Supervisor Gillian Austin. So what's this area backstage where we're at? It looks like a jam-packed dressing room. What's it called?
Yeah, well, we call it Gondola World, and Gondola World because these big crates are called gondolas.
And that's what you not only store the costumes in during dressing, but it looks like that's what they ship in as well.
Yeah, so these are all just basically packed onto a truck, and we take up, our costumes are so big and so plentiful, we take up a semi and a half of space on our truck pack. And these are basically built so that when we're going to another city, we can just close the lid and send it on its way.
And it becomes very familiar no matter what house you're in to the cast as well.
Right. Yeah, these are all set up in a specific order, and so that the cast is already familiar with what we have to do. We just have to train dressers wherever we go from place to place.
Because those are local employees that you pick up in each city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are 3 wardrobe people who travel with the show, and in each city we hire an additional 12 local Denverites to work the show with us as well.
Great.
Yeah, right. So
on stage it looks like feathers, but it's not.
Yeah, they're cloth, and you can just see, like, I love this one. It's one of our cockatoos for the finale of the show, which is all about the animals and flowers of Australia. And so these are our cockatoos, and you can just see how much work went into these. There was someone with a sewing machine and serger making every single one of these feathers.
Before they assembled the whole costume.
Yeah, and you can see we have 3 different types of white fabric that just went into this. I mean, there's so much work into it. In addition, we have all the tail feathers, and she also has wings that go with the look, as well as like a tall white and yellow wig. So she looks like a full cockatoo.
There's over 500 costumes in this show?
Yeah. I mean, there are 500 costumes, but as far as pieces, which is like shoes, underwear, hats, shirts, we're definitely over 1,000 easy. So yeah, and a lot of them are very big too, which makes it
that you're showing us some stuff in the finale, and the finale incorporates lots of looks that we recognize specifically from the film. Can you talk about that?
Let me see. There are a lot of costumes in the show that are from the film, and it's not really in the finale, but we have this flip-flop dress. Yeah, so I know what you're talking about. So where'd it go?
Right here.
Oh, it's right there. Thanks. This is covering it. So this was made popular in the film, and the designer also, she's the one who wore the gold card dress to the Oscars, the credit card dress. But this one is great. So these are fake flip-flops, but I think in the movie they had actual real flip-flops. But yeah, and you can see just on the cut of this is built for a man because it's wider here where normally it would be more flared at the hip for a woman. So yeah, so this is one of those great dresses. Another great one in the show that was also in the film is this one, which just looks like, just a party dress or something, but then brings it up and he has these puppets that sing along with him. So these end up being his
background singers.
Yeah, his background singers. We can show this. This was in the film as well. So this is when our lead
That's
who plays...
an iconic moment from the film. It's
Yeah.
one of the most spectacular moments on stage because
Yeah.
you're wondering all the way leading up to it, how are they going to do that? And you do.
Yeah.
So tell me about
Definitely.
this one.
Yeah, and so this one, it's just a bodysuit, and he has the little wings on his feet, like Apollo, right? So he's the Greek god on stage. And this is all covered in these tiny little sequins that catch the light so that when he's on the stage, he's just glittering from head to toe. It's wonderful. And I just love how they went and Swarovski crystalled his abs for him.
With a different color and size for that dimension.
Yeah, so that's really just a great piece.
And that's the moment on top of Priscilla during La Traviata.
Right. Exactly, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely from the film, and his headpiece for that is also really spectacular. It's this one, and you can just see it's a great sculptured piece with all of the different silvers and these filaments, sequins, you name it, Swarovskis, giant gemstones, it's all on here. So
they're quite light. You think that they're going to be a very heavy piece, but the way you make them out of buckram or whatever you're doing is really not as painful as we think it's going to be.
Yeah, no, we have a few definitely really heavy hats that are like pushing, they're in the 15-pound range, but they're only on stage for about a minute at a time. So
and that's not those
good.
big feather pieces that you
No,
think of.
these are relatively light. Really, the heavy ones are our Gumby headdresses. Yeah, and probably if you want me to show you, I'll show you these.
That's the kind that takes stamina.
Yeah, so this takes some effort to put on, and also because it's so large, just your balance is totally shifted when you're in one of these things.
They have those funny little things on their feet too
Yeah,
when they're wearing those.
and those are these, so you can see just how big they are.
It's like they're those stabilizer balls cut in half.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are made out of foam, so they aren't as heavy as they could be, but the way they're constructed, here, I'll put it this way. So this one goes with that hat I just showed you, and they basically have little shoes inside, like van shoes on the inside, and so these are glued and drilled into these big industrial foam, pieces that have all been sculpted out, and they've taken out pieces here to make it presumably a little bit lighter. And so these are just glued in, and then this is kind of here in case the glue gives out. So then just in case, just to kind of catch it a bit so they can finish the number if they're stuck. Yeah.
So the amount of work that goes on back here, we know it has to be as frenetic as it is on stage. And you're dealing with 12 people that you pick up in each city.
Right.
How do you and the team manage that?
Well, we have a load-in period, and we devote 4 hours during each load-in just to, we have a PRISCILLA school where we take them through the more tricky costumes, and also we give them a binder. We have textbooks for PRISCILLA school so that we show them, so they can see what each look looks like. And so this is in show order, so they know she's going to start with this dress and then put her into this, and so on.
Binder for each
dresser. Yeah, each person. So so we give them a full PRISCILLA school with demos, textbooks, and then the first night we're very hands-on as far as showing them, okay, so you're going to do this hook and then zip, and then, we take them to places where they're going to stand. We also have signs on the floor, you'll see, so that they know where to preset costumes, and so things just don't get mixed up, because we have a lot of things that look alike as well. So
now the amount of room you have here at the Buell is pretty generous, definitely more than in a typical Broadway theater, and probably for some of the older houses that you're visiting.
Yes.
So what are some of those challenges like for you?
Oh, well, we can get really smushed in some of the older theaters, and some things we've had to do, we've had to keep some of our costumes like in separate areas, like in back hallways or in offices, and we've had to do changes basically on top of each other, because we can't cut any costumes in the show ever for any reason. So we are just much more, we're sucking in and just being very cramped when we're doing it. But one nice thing about here is, and it's so bizarre too, because we are like such a big costume show that even in this theater with so much space, we still are kind of a little bit cramped, It's like we need to be in a giant opera house to be able to do the show with space. But but we're just very organized, and that helps a lot. And we all just have to move around each other, and as soon as a person is done changing, they just get out of the way so that other people can come and do it.
So the skills you've learned about being organized and fitting things in together to pack up the costumes for the show, does that translate to your own wardrobe while you're on the road with the PRISCILLA Queen of the Desert?
Yeah, I've my own suitcases. Yeah, so for 8 months we're supposed to live out of 2 suitcases, right? And so I've learned to downsize. And the one thing I can't really cut back on are shoes, though, because shoes, it's like new shoes, a new day, and your feet stop hurting, and it's like wonderful that way. But yeah, you do have to permit yourself some luxuries, but I wear a lot of black, so when I'm backstage, so pretty much my whole suitcase is black.
And it all goes together.
And it all goes together, right? So, but it's easier just to pack light rather than
Well, thank
for
you
sure.
so much for this really sort of secret glimpse of PRISCILLA and how it all comes together, and how there's really as much of a show going on backstage as there is in the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Well, that was our visit backstage at Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It's only here in Colorado for a short time. Visit denvercenter.org to get your tickets and look at their webpage to see where they're going to come and visit next. Next on In Focus, we'll meet stars of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Wade McCullough, Brian West, Scott Willis, and Joe Hart.